Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. Again, we have another marvelous day. Like, I kind of predicted that we would wake up to a new high, but I underestimated Bitcoin's resiliency right now. I thought it'll be at 38,000, but we're above 39,000, and we're right at the cusp of breaking $40,000, guys. $40,000 for Bitcoin, and soon Bitcoin will become. Actually, it did flip this morning, but flip back. But soon it'll be bigger than Tesla and even Facebook. That's how big Bitcoin is now. Obviously, very exciting, very exciting time. It just seems like Bitcoin does not want to come down, and everything is just lining up. The stars are lining up, and it's just a trifecta. It's a trifecta. Everything is going for Bitcoin, and I'm going to explain why. But even during this stream, I would love to see it. Maybe we'll see Bitcoin break 40,000 together because it's right there. It's just a few $100 away. So thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, I have these live streams every day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I had a live stream last night. That was a pretty good one, pretty exciting. Bitcoin broke 37,000, and now we're about to break $40,000 every day, just higher and higher and higher, higher. And that's a good problem to have. So thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get started. Well, let's bring up my screen right now. 39,400. Oof. Man, Bitcoin is just on an absolute tear ever since, I would say, August, September, around that time frame. The train left the station, and now it's just accelerating. It's not just like a slow creep. It's really like full force now, and it's getting faster and faster and faster. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about because, man, this movement is just so fast now. I mentioned about how the dollar amount for Bitcoin, the dollar amount is higher now. We're nearing 40,000. So even a 5% move, at 40,000 will be 2,000, right? So every day we're waking up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10% moves. That is why it's moving up so quick. After 40,000, it's going to move even quicker. A 10% move at 40,000 will be 4,000 move. It'll just jump up to 44,000, right? So that's how fast things are moving, but it's perfectly natural. Hey, if Bitcoin is going to reach 200, 300, 500,000 one day, you know what? It needs to get moving, right? It needs to get moving, and that's what we're seeing today. And you know what? Hopefully we could see 40,000 by the end of this stream. So obviously a lot to talk about. First, let's look at the overall market cap because that was the purpose of my stream last night. Not only did Bitcoin break 37,000, the overall market cap broke $1 trillion. And I said, you know what? Just watch it. It's going to hit 1.1 trillion, 1.2 trillion in the near future. We're pretty close. We gained another 60 billion overnight. Now, most of that is from Bitcoin, but still, a lot of altcoins are moving up in a big way today. So another 60 billion, just like within 10 hours span. It's not even within a whole day. And that is only increasing at this point. So just think about it. 1 trillion market cap for digital currency, for crypto overall. This is too hard to ignore at this point, right? For people that are still naysayers saying this is all is going to collapse, the bigger things get, the harder it is. The harder it is for that to happen, right? These are legitimizing themselves, and especially Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself is now at $731 billion. That is insane. Insane. So I like to compare Bitcoin. You guys have seen, those of you guys have been watching me for a while. You know that I've been showing this, comparing Bitcoin versus some of the top companies of the world and also precious metals like silver and gold. And recently, Bitcoin made some huge moves, went up above Visa, right? It already surpassed JP Morgan Chase not too long ago. then surpassed Visa. So Bitcoin already became the biggest bank on earth, became the biggest payment processor on earth by surpassing Chase and Visa. It's bigger than Samsung, bigger than Berkshire Hathaway, right? Rat poison squared. It's bigger than Berkshire Hathaway. It's bigger than the two biggest Chinese companies, Tencent and Alibaba. And now it's right under Tesla and Facebook. This morning, actually, Bitcoin flipped with Tesla, but Tesla's having an amazing day too. It's above $800. And I have more to say about that, but you know that's going to happen, right? Tesla and Facebook, they're not going to be moving nearly as fast as Bitcoin at this point. By this time tomorrow, Bitcoin could be at 800 billion market cap. To move another 10% within a single day, that could certainly happen. So you know that this flipping is just right around the corner. It's going to flip with Tesla. It's going to flip with Facebook. And just think about that. Think about Bitcoin being bigger than even Facebook. And the next target after that is Google. Yeah, that's right. And after Google, then Bitcoin is going to be targeting silver. The entire supply of silver around the world, including physical and paper, all of silver in the entire world is only worth $1.5 trillion, right? Bitcoin is halfway there, and pretty soon Bitcoin is going to be above silver as well. And then you got the big boys, Amazon, Microsoft. I don't know what Saudi Aramco is. I'm assuming it's an oil company. But then you got Apple, and then we're going after gold, right? There's no reason to think why Bitcoin cannot equal gold or even surpass gold one day. And look at where gold's market cap is, $12 trillion. So there is plenty of room to grow. There's plenty of room to grow for Bitcoin. Even at these levels, people might doubt it, saying it's already too high. Well, it could definitely still double from here to match silver, and it could go up at least 15, 20 times to match gold. That is right around the corner. That's going to come sooner than later, right? I mean, the last 3 years, 3.5 years, since 2017 till now, seemed like it was forever. Forever that Bitcoin was stuck below in crypto winter. But no, it's only been 3 years. Can you imagine what's going to happen to Bitcoin and just the whole industry in another 3 years, another 4 years, another 5 years, right? What the landscape is going to be then. And who knows? 5 years from now, Bitcoin could be sitting at number one at 20 trillion market cap. Who knows? Who knows at this point? All right. So a couple things I want to mention that kind of interesting, right? Number one, because of Tesla is going up to the moon, just like Bitcoin, Tesla's move today made Elon Musk the richest person on Earth, even surpassing Jeff Bezos. So he has about $185 billion. That's well deserved. That's well deserved. But guess what? Even as high as that, right? 185 billion, pretty soon, he may be knocked off by Bitcoiner. And you know who that could be? Well, I showed you guys this recently. Chamath, and I can't say his last name. Okay, 43-year-old venture capitalist, also the chairman of Virgin Galactic, and also part owner of Golden State Warriors, and he's very well known, already a billionaire. But you know what? He bought a million Bitcoin back in 2010. So if you do the math, that million Bitcoin is equaling $40 billion already, right? 40 billion. That already makes him one of the richest men on earth. Not as high as Elon right now. Still a big gap between 185 and 40 million. But think about it. Bitcoin is at 40,000. What if Bitcoin gets to 400,000 like some people predicted? You 10 times that, that will give Chamath a net worth of $400 billion, which will make him the richest person on earth due to Bitcoin. Think about that. Think about when that happens, when Forbes lists out all the richest people on earth, and you're starting to see the top 10 are all getting there due to Bitcoin, right? It's wild if you think about that, right? And I don't think that's far-fetched. Bitcoin doesn't even need to get to 400 $400,000 for Chamath to become the richest man on earth, to surpass Elon, right? Just from his Bitcoin investments will make him that rich. It's wild. It's wild. Now, something else about Elon I want to talk about, and this is something that I think is still around the corner, and this is kind of like a conspiracy theory. My friend actually brought it up to me because he's a big Tesla bug. Elon recently flew to Hawaii to meet with Oracle's Larry Ellison. And Larry Ellison is a close friend. I believe Larry Ellison sits on the board and the second largest individual shareholder of Tesla. So Larry Ellison is also beyond rich, right? But people are wondering why Elon decided to go meet up with Larry Ellison. People are thinking, speculating that maybe Elon wants to combine all his companies into one. Someone else, like my friend, told me maybe he's trying to bring up this idea of, well, maybe Tesla should use some of that reserve cash to buy Bitcoin. It's out there, right? But we know Michael Saylor has been talking with Elon. So could this be the start of that? Can maybe Tesla raise more debt because they recently raised $5 million worth of debt? Could they raise another $5 billion or $10 billion or $100 billion at this point and just say, hey, we're going to put that into Bitcoin? Not only would that make Tesla stock fly up even more and make Elon even richer, it's going to cause such an avalanche of buying into Bitcoin. It would be insane. So I know this is just a theory, but I do think that's in the works. I really think someone like Elon would do that. Michael Saylor is sharing his playbook with everyone, right? Elon is the type of person that would listen and do that. He thinks outside the box. So imagine that, right? It'll be wild, but I honestly think that's right around the corner too. Over the next 3 months, right, within the first quarter, I'm thinking we're going to see an avalanche of news of publicly traded companies, hedge funds, pension companies, retirement funds, large institutions. They're all going to be saying, we're buying Bitcoin. Either we're going to convert gold to Bitcoin or we're going to take our cash reserves and put it into Bitcoin, because that's just a logical thing to do. As the dollar deflates, or I should say inflate to nothing, right? They're going to want a way to preserve their wealth. So look at this. I've been showing this recently. Just from 1 year ago, the USD is now basically 80%. It has inflated 80% versus SATs, versus Bitcoin, right? And the USD continues to inflate, continue to devalue itself, especially among assets like Bitcoin or stocks or real estate or any kind of collectible, right? The USD is inflating right in front of our eyes in a major way, not in a small, in a major way, right? So that's why I think within the next 3 months, we're going to get an avalanche of news about all these big institutions and just the big money. They're all going to be coming into Bitcoin. So that's another driver why Bitcoin will continue to go up, because there's already FOMO. There's going to be more FOMO. All right. What else is there? Mike Novogratz. So I've said this, but people said it before me, but Mike Novogratz is now saying after me. He predicts that young people will buy Bitcoin with their stimulus check. It seems like if you're not a Bitcoiner, that seems like it's reckless, right? Now, it is reckless if you do need to use that to pay for bills, you're out of work, you're behind on things. I get that. You need to spend that money. But if you don't, and the $600 is an extra boost to you, rather than spend it on, I don't know, a PS5 or something like that, or a new iPhone or something like that. Yeah, putting it into Bitcoin is actually the right move. It's the smart move, because Bitcoin has just been going up and up and up and up while the USD keeps going down. So this was actually from January 2nd, and we know Bitcoin has moved quite tremendously since January 2nd within this last week. Had you put $1,200 in when you first got it into Bitcoin, it would be worth almost $6,000, up 371%. Again, this is old, so actually it is worth over $6,000 had you put that $1,200 into Bitcoin. So that's not reckless. That's actually the smart move. That's actually the smart move. And I said the same thing. Like this time around, a lot of people got their $600, right? Put it into Bitcoin. And since then, right, that's only been, what, a week or so? Maybe not even a week. Had you put that $600 into Bitcoin, it's up already 25% at over $752. And that is probably behind too, because that's yesterday's. Taking into account Bitcoin was still below 37,000 and now it's at 40,000. So it's probably up about 30% just within a single week. So that's actually the smart move. That is not reckless, right? So yeah, I think that's 100% correct. Now, what else is there? This is pretty interesting. Visa-backed Bitcoin startup to launch Lightning-based global payment app. Notice the headline, Visa-backed, right? We've heard of banks now jumping aboard to Bitcoin, just going all gung-ho about Bitcoin. Their analysts, their wealth advisors telling everyone to just go buy Bitcoin, right? Banks have pretty much given up saying that Bitcoin is bad. You know, JP Morgan saying Bitcoin's going to 150,000, Citibank says it's 300,000, and others are just jumping in and saying, yeah, go buy Bitcoin, right? But we haven't heard so much about Visa or MasterCard yet because they are also threatened by Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is already worth more than both of them. But and you know what? If everyone has their own bank account, they're carrying their own bank in their own wallets and their phones, right? Do you really need to use credit cards anymore? No, not really. So that is why Visa and MasterCard, you know, they're getting worried. So Visa backed this company called Zap. And they're basically utilizing Lightning Network to allow people to buy and sell and transfer Bitcoin very cheaply, very easily, right? And I believe Zap is also the company that that football player decided to use to convert half his salary into Bitcoin. I believe it's Zap or Strike. So I'm not 100% sure about that. But my point is, you gotta pay attention, right? Visa, MasterCard, they're not just go sit by and let their business rot to nothing. So they're also doing what they can to get involved with Bitcoin and blockchain and you know whatever else they can get involved with, right? So interesting. What else is there? Grayscale names a new CEO. Kind of interesting. Michael Sonnenshin, who is currently the firm's managing director, now becomes CEO. So what happens to Barry? According to this, Barry will become the CEO of Grayscale's parent company, Digital Currency Group. Both of these guys are probably just like raking in money right now. Grayscale is just unstoppable. And by the way, so is Bitcoin. 39.7. We're only less than $300 away from breaking 40,000. That would be pretty marvelous. During this stream, we see it hit 40,000. I think that's going to happen. That's only less than $300 away. All right. What else is there? Yeah, speaking of Grayscale, this was updated yesterday. Didn't update today yet, but when they update it, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust will probably be another 2-3 billion more than this figure. And this was already about 1.5 billion more than the previous figure from a day ago, right? But what's important about this is, yeah, you can, besides Bitcoin going up, you can see that institutions are also getting interested in Ethereum. Ethereum Trust is going up too, and some of these smaller ones are also going up. So interesting to see that, you know what, some institutions are starting to get involved with altcoins as well. Lastly, I just want to make a final point here for those of you guys that are new to the channel, you're new to Bitcoin, you don't know why it's going up, why it's valuable, you know, I just want to point this out. How many Bitcoins are there? Okay. In total, there's only 900 being produced per day around the world. Okay, around the world, there's only 900 Bitcoins produced per day. And when you have supply that limited, and you have everyone that's trying to get a piece of it, think about what happens to the price. This is the reason why price goes up and keeps going up, right? PayPal alone, with their 350 million users, is already buying more than 900 Bitcoins per day. And then let's not forget Square, which is also a big powerhouse in this with their Cash App, right? And Robinhood. And not to mention all the exchanges that exist out there like Coinbase and Gemini, OKX, Huobi, Binance, of course, and there's a dozen other big ones. There are also getting an influx of users coming in, and they're buying and buying and buying and buying. And all of this pales still in comparison to the institutions that are buying. They are buying billions upon billions upon billions per week, right? This is the reason why Bitcoin keeps going up. It's a simple calculation, I guess, of supply and demand. And I can't even give you the full picture of demand right now. I can't tell you like demand, if it's this big, supply is like this big. Okay? Demand, supply. That is what's happening right now, because people are finally waking up and starting to realize that there's not that many Bitcoins coming out. There is not many Bitcoins left to be mined. And the total in existence is actually very, very tiny. This 8.6 million is very small. Even if it was 18.6, for the entire world, that's so small. But we know that's not a true figure, because that figure is actually less by 3, 4, 5 million due to how much Bitcoin has been lost over the years. So if you take that into account, it's just very, very, very scarce. So for those of you guys that are new, that is the reason why Bitcoin continues to go up. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Blade Runner, BTC chart looks the same as it looked in 2017. Long term, no problem. Should we worry about short term? No. Blade Runner, I feel like you haven't been listening to anything, and this is not a diss to you, but I feel like you haven't been listening to anything I've been saying, because you're still equating right now to the same as 2017, and it's not. It's not. 2017, there was no institutions, and everything was retail. Right now, it's about maybe a third, if even that, retail, and everything else is institutions. So stop trying to compare now to 2017. I know you tune in every single day, and you keep coming back to the same thing. No, it's not. Don't try to relate it to 2017 or any of the previous cycles, because it's different now. Now, with that said, does that mean Bitcoin can never go back down anymore? Can never correct? No, it will. It will. There's always volatility. Everything that goes up must come down. There will be up and downs, right? But if you're fearing a 85, a 86% drop like 2017, stop it. That's not going to happen, because institutions are not going to allow that to happen. It's a race to accumulate as much Bitcoins as possible. That is why the price keeps going up. So don't try to relate it to 2017. It's nothing like 2017. Best day to dollar cost average weekly? I don't know. Every day seems to be good. But I would say the best day is probably Monday. If I had to choose, I would choose Monday. And the reason why is because over the past few weekends, Bitcoin has been jumping to the moon, right? I don't know why. It's a phenomenon that's happening every every Saturday and Sunday, Bitcoin jumps to the moon. And the funny thing is, right now, this week, Bitcoin is jumping, and it's only Thursday. It's not even Friday. So that means we still have room to grow. That means if we hit 40,000 today, tomorrow when I stream, it could be at 42,000, 44,000. And this weekend, we could possibly see jump to maybe even 50,000 this week. Yeah, it's that crazy. But yeah, if I had to choose a day, I would say Monday. We'll have our Vegas party. This year. Gotta wait for things to settle down, as always. Those of you guys that are tuned in, maybe a little bit late, you didn't watch what I said at the beginning, scroll to the beginning. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my live streams or videos. And also, make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, let's not forget, Clayton makes a good point. You know that Von Eyck has also, put in paperwork with SEC. They want to get a Bitcoin ETF that's actually backed by Bitcoin, right? A ETF, exchange traded fund, where they are required to hold Bitcoin. So the more people that buy the ETF, the more Bitcoin they have to buy, right? So that is also in the works. I don't know if the SECs are ready. I mean, I don't know if it's been enough time for the SEC to actually say yes, but we have a new commissioner or new chairman coming in. So it could change the landscape. It could change things. So who knows? Maybe that will be around the corner too. If that gets approved, you go see an influx of even more money come in, and it's just go be it's like dumping gasoline on fire. That's how explosive it is. And speaking of explosive, we're at 39,800. We are $200 away from $40,000. 39.99 on Bybit. Do you think it's a good idea to buy MicroStrategy stock when Bitcoin is pumping? I've said that, Tin. I have said that. I said that's a good buy if you're a stock investor. MicroStrategy would be a great buy because of their involvement with Bitcoin. They're one big Bitcoin play right now. If Bitcoin does well, they're going to do well. They have their entire cash reserves and even more than that in Bitcoin. So obviously, MicroStrategy, their stock has been skyrocketing recently. It's not due to technicals. It's not due to anything fundamentally about the business. It's just due to their Bitcoin holdings. That's it. That is it. And rightfully so, because if you refresh this, Michael Saylor has made a cool 1.6, almost $1.7 billion from their Bitcoin holdings. So yeah, when you made $1.6 billion within 4 months, you're gonna be rewarded. So people are buying that stock for that reason. Even Square, Square pales in comparison, but Square put in $50 million, which seems like that's nothing, right? Their $50 million is now worth close to $200 million. It netted them $140 million within such a short amount of time. So even that small investment by Square, relatively speaking, is now worth a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Yeah, the besides MicroStrategy, like the mining stocks, they have gone up through the roof too. Like Riot, I've been looking at Riot recently. I think they're up like 25% today, right? Because miners are making money hands over fist right now. $1 million per hour. That was the last estimate. It could be like $2 or $3 million per hour now. And Riot themselves have a good amount of Bitcoin. They started with, in June of 2020, their initial investment of Bitcoin, 7.2 million, is now close to $50 million. And they've been mining on top of that, right? Who knows how much they've been keeping. But a lot of the mining companies are also going through the roof because of it. And let's not forget, even like PayPal and Square has been on a tear. PayPal, which haven't reported recently because they just got involved recently, but their Q1 numbers, I think it's going to be crazy due to their Bitcoin revenue. Right now, I would guess most people FOMOing in, as for retail investors, they're utilizing PayPal to buy Bitcoin because it's just easier. Everyone has a PayPal account. Why wouldn't you just go on there, right? They don't really understand the difference between buying on PayPal versus exchange like Gemini. I get that, right? It's not the optimal thing, but that's what most people are doing now. I have no doubt that when PayPal releases their Q1 numbers in terms of Bitcoin revenue and profits, it's gonna be to the moon. It's gonna be tremendously high. PayPal needs to ask Dogecoin. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Bitcoin closing in on Tesla. Yep. It did actually surpass Tesla this morning. It did. If Tesla comes down a little bit and Bitcoin goes up a little bit past 40,000, it's there. It's separated by about, less than $30 billion. What's a few billion between friends, right? But, I would not be surprised by Monday or next week. Bitcoin will be above Tesla, and not only that, be above Facebook. That's a pretty astounding fact, and soon it'll be bigger than Google. Tether, stop being scared by Tether. Just do your own math. We have $1 billion, $1 trillion market cap. Tether overall is 22 billion, right? That's a big difference. So people that are still fudding, saying Tether is the reason why things are pumping up. No, $22 billion, although high, is not the reason why the overall market cap is at $1 trillion, especially with Bitcoin. You could do the math. Putting 22 billion into Bitcoin will not cause it to go up this much, right? So whatever happened before with Tether happened, but they are heavily regulated now. They have a lot of US regulators are looking at Tether. So any shenanigans that Bitfinex and Tether or whatever they did before, that's kind of like history. So don't worry about Tether FUD at this point. Oceanic, I appreciate that. Appreciate all of your support, guys. Yeah, whenever Bitcoin pumps, you realize that Coinbase goes down and they're trying to IPO. They had 3 years to prepare and they have made so much money. I don't know why Coinbase can't beef up their infrastructure so it can handle it, right? Other exchanges don't crash nearly as much. Sure, a lot of people go to Coinbase, but they have so much money, they could beef up their infrastructure and they could beef up their customer service too, which quite frankly sucks. And these are things they have to address if they do plan on going IPO and raising a whole bunch of funds. People will question them on this. So Brian Armstrong needs to solve this kind of stuff. That's why I don't advise anyone to go to Coinbase. And plus, they just suspend people's accounts left and right without any reason. So if you're in the US, I like Gemini a lot better. Also, even like Binance US, Kraken, Bittrex, they're all really good alternatives. Phil, that's a very good point. If they could do it, why can't Coinbase? There's a lot more people going to that site. Man, I want to see this go to 40,000. Why is it not coming? It's pretty soon. Pretty soon, though. Can't log in Coinbase. Yeah, people said Coinbase is down right now. You can't do it. All right, guys. I think I'll let you go so I could get some lunch. Unfortunately, my wife's calling me the 100 band man. I don't actually know what that means. But anyways, so unfortunately we didn't see 40K during the stream, but I have no doubt we will see it. Will Bitcoin take a little breather at 40,000? Possibly. Remember, I said every 10,000 psychologically is a big accomplishment, right? 10,000, 20,000, they were very hard to pass and keep. 30,000 kind of just came and went like it's nothing. I'm thinking 40,000 is maybe one point where Bitcoin kind of stalls out a little bit, right? Maybe it takes a breather at this point. But based on everything else I'm seeing, everything I'm covering and telling you guys, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's insignificant and it just keeps going up. But we'll see. 40,000 is right around the corner, which will basically... I I guess I just don't know what the bears will say anymore. I mean, what else can you say? Everything is just like, I don't know. Nothing, there's really no argument against it anymore. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Zebra had quick take at Kyber network. Price seems low and pretty useful. I don't know. It's kind of like a hybrid. It's like a hybrid DEX. It is useful, but there's so many options out there, so I don't know how useful it really is. I mean, I know you can integrate directly with your ledger or treasure, and it's much easier to use than a DEX. It's kind of a hybrid, right? But you know, as more and more people FOMO in, they're probably gonna resort to easier platforms to use. So I don't know if Kyber is one that I would really keep my eye on. So, all right, guys, that is it. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for my future video. You know, the way things are going, maybe I'll have a stream tonight too after we hit 40, 41, 42. Who knows where it's gonna be? And it's not even Friday yet. It's not even Friday yet, guys. All right, guys, take care until next time. Bye-bye.